Hello everyone, welcome to this course, Kinematic Assessment and Human Movement. My name is Dongwon Huang. Today's topic is Basic Science. This is the third video for the Basic Science. Today we will talk about skeletal system and physiology in this video. You might already know about them. Today we will just remind terminologies. First, here is the whole body skeletons. For adults, human body has 206 bones. Our skeletal system is divided into 80 axial bones and 126 appendicular bones. Axial bones consist of the skull, spine, sternum, and ribs. At first, the skull is inside of the head and protects our brain. The skull includes in total 22 bones, not include teeth. Cranial bones seems one bone, but there are 8 cranial bones. You can see the borders between bones on the picture. Located in the lower part, facial bones are made up of 14 bones, including the nose, jaw, and etc. The spine is a series of the bones along the longitudinal axis of the body and support the upper body. The spine is made of 32 to 34 bones, depending on humans, but I will explain the spine with 33 bones. 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, and 5 lumbar vertebra, as well as 5 sacrum and 4 coccyx. To support more mass of the body, the lower part of the spine are bigger and thicker. Lastly, there are also 1 sternum and 12 pairs of ribs in the category of axial bones. Sternum is the middle of the chest. Many ribs are connected to sternum. Ribs are placed the left and right side of the sternum. The sternum and ribs protect our organ in the chest, like the heart, lung, stomach, named a few. We are moving on the appendicular bones. The appendicular bones consist of a pectoral girdle, upper limbs, pelvic girdle, and lower limbs. Here is the pectoral girdle. Near the sternum and ribs, there are the clavicle and scapula. They plays an important role in moving the shoulder. So there are 2 clavicles and 2 scapulars. Moving on the upper limbs, also known as arms. We understood the arm is whole arm from the shoulder to finger. In anatomical term, arm indicates only the upper arm. Nevertheless, we will use the term upper arm in this course. The forearm is here, including 2 bones. The hand including 27 bones. At the round junction, there are 8 bones, and the thumb has 3 bones, and other 4 fingers has 4 bones each. We can see here the pelvic girdle, is known as the hip. We will call it as the pelvis in this course. It consists of 2 bones on the left and right side. One bone is divided into 3 parts: ilium, ischium, and pubis. So now, here we have the lower limbs, which consist of 30 bones for each. There is a thigh, also called femur. There is a patella in front of the knee. The leg has 2 bones. The bigger one is tibia, and smaller one is a fibula. And finally, the foot has 26 bones. The foot roughly divided into 3 parts from the backside: tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. Now we will talk about joints. First, here are the elbow and knee. We call the joint where 2 bones are connected. The elbow and knee are designed as 2 moves for the flexion and extension, not abduction, adduction, and rotation. So the degree of freedom is 1. For flexion and extension, there is a coordination of the muscles and ligament. I will tell you the coordination later. Here are the ankle and wrist. They have more complicated structure than the elbow and knee. Their degree of freedom is 2 because it can do flexion and extension as well as abduction and adduction for the wrist and eversion and inversion of the ankle. There are a shoulder and a hip joint. This is a special structure, the ball and socket. Because of this structure, they can have 3 degrees of freedom. They can do flexion and extension, abduction and adduction, as well as rotating. Only these 2 joints can do circumduction. So far, I talked about skeleton system. Now I'm talking about physiology. But I'll talk about only 2 things, the nerves and muscles. For our nerves, there are 2 types of nerve systems. One is the central nerve system, shortly CNS. It is placed in the brain and spinal cord. They do the different and complicated tasks. The other one is a peripheral nerve system, called PNS. They are placed outside the brain and spinal cord. Also, it is roughly divided into somatic and automatic nerve system. Somatic nerve system is related to sensory motor control. Automatic nerve system is related to our organ like heart and the lung. Again, it is divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve system. The basic unit of the nerve is the neuron. The neuron is shown in this slide. It is one cell, so there are the nucleus and cell body. The neuron can receive and transfer the sense information. The dendrite receives the signal from other neurons, whereas the terminal transfers the signal to other neurons. The axon is connected between the dendrite and terminal so that it is the path of the signal. The information is transferred by electrical signal. In the resting status, the neurons stay minus 70 millivolt. When it is stimulated, it reaches up to plus 40 millivolt. The voltage is changed from the minus to plus. It is depolarization. And then there is repolarization to return to the resting status minus 70 millivolt. The electrical signal is generated by chemical reaction. The densities of the sodium and potassium ions are changed inside and outside the axon. Sodium is natrium, Na+, and potassium is kalium, K+. As the sodium ions increase inside the axon, the potassium ions decrease to return to the resting status. This is the animation, and the blue and red and green dots are the expression of the wall of the axon. The animation of the graph shows change in the voltage of axon and process of the signal transferring. Now we will talk about muscles. First, we will see the structure of the muscles. It consists of a number of fascicles. When zooming in 75 times bigger, we can see fascicles are made up of a lot of muscle fibers. Here, you can see. When zooming in 1000 times bigger, we can see muscle fibers, and they consist of a number of myofibrils. When we zoom in 20,000 times, we can find a lot of filaments in the myofibril. The thinner one is actin, and the thicker one is the myosin. The muscles are relaxed and contracted to move our body. When the muscle is contracted, the lengths of myofibril are shorter. The actin and myosin is longer, so that A band is longer and the H zone is shorter. Thank you for your attention. For the next video, please click the video on the bottom right, and for the previous video, please click on the bottom left.